Hi guys, Colesy, and today we're going to be again looking at budget PCs perfect for VR. It has again been 2 years since my last video, which was 2 years after the first video I did about budget VR PCs. And luckily, VR PCs have gotten actually even cheaper. So this is the most budget friendly, but also VR ready PCs that you can buy. Is significantly less than a lot of last year's, and the performance will be a lot better. That's just technology getting better. So if you are looking for a VR ready PC, whether that be for something like this, your Quest 3 or Quest 3S headset, or you're looking to use a PC VR headset like a Vive or an older Oculus or a Valve Index, or maybe you're planning for future VR headsets that will be coming soon, these are going to be a bunch of PCs that will get you into VR gaming on a budget. Now, I have 5 PCs from the UK and 5 PCs from the US. Much like last time, I have only selected PCs that have like above a 4-star rating on Amazon. And again, I'm using Amazon because it's easy and accessible for most people. Simple to use. They have a good return policy if there ever are any issues. All the links will be down in the description, and they are affiliate links. So if you do use them, then it helps benefit me. But if you don't, hopefully this video just helps you get an idea of what kind of spec you should be looking for a VR ready PC. Starting off with the UK PCs, we are going to start here with the ADMI or ADMI Gaming PC. It has a Ryzen 5 5500, an RTX 3050, 6GB graphics card, 16GB of DDR4 RAM, a TB NVMe SSD, 500-watt power supply, Wi-Fi, Windows 11, all that stuff. This is £519.95. Now, like I said, in my last video, like the minimum that we were looking at in terms of GPU, which is it's the graphical generator of your PC. It's going to generate the graphic side of things. So for gaming and VR and stuff like that, it's really the powerhouse, the real important piece that you need. Obviously, CPU and RAM and everything is also important, but GPU, that's the big one. So in my last video, we were looking at sort of the 1650 area. And while it could do VR, I researched heavily that it could. Something like a 3050 now is going to be much more powerful. You're going to get a much better experience. And again, for these PCs, I've looked over a bunch of VR games, the most popular VR games. So this is the first PC. Now, these are going to increase in price, but they are increasing less than in previous years. So that's a good thing. And that is just because technology has moved on, graphics cards have improved, and even the newer, lower end graphics cards, like a 3050, they're more powerful than older cards are. On to PC number 2, we have an XUM Legends pre-built gaming PC, Intel i5-10400F, RTX 4060, 8GB, 32GB of DDR4 RAM, 500GB SSD, TB hard drive, 700-watt power supply, and again, Windows 11. Even says VR ready in the build. Now, this PC is a i5 10th series, which is a little older. That's fine. It's perfectly reasonable. I am still running a 10th gen CPU myself, and it is more than powerful enough to do the things that I do. We're moving up from a 3050 to a 4060, so another generation newer. We're also getting twice as much RAM. 16GB is really the minimum you want to go for, but 32 is always beneficial. DDR4 rather than DDR5. That's just in this budget area that we're looking at. We're going to mostly be looking at DDR4. In terms of storage, we are getting a 500GB SSD, which is less than the first one, but it is coupled with a TB hard drive. So for most things you're going to want to store, like games, SSDs are becoming much more the norm. Hard drives are a bit older, but for bulk storage of things, you've got that TB hard drive there. The price for this one is $647.99. There are a lot of different configurations you can see here. As with the last one, there's a bunch of different configurations you can do. You can go up to a 3060. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but again, I'm just kind of giving you what I see as these levels slowly increasing on budget wise in terms of this PC. But again, hopefully this video, if not giving you an exact PC to buy, hopefully it gives you sort of a spec to look at, spec region or range to research for yourself. On to the third UK PC we have. So this is a Luna 5 white gaming PC tower. Now, there is only one left of this, so whoever gets there first wins. 10-core 14400F, so this is a much newer than the 10th gen i5 we were just looking at. Still the RTX 4060. This is apparently an overclocked version, so it might run a little bit faster. 16GB of 3200 megahertz RAM, TB NVMe SSD, and again, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Windows 11, all that stuff. Looks very nice, very pretty looking case, and just general computer design, fairly simple. Just gone for a white build, which you don't see quite as often. Like I said, there is only one left of this at the time of recording, so I don't know how that's going to do in terms of being up for sale after the fact when this video releases and later down the line. But again, it's another option out there. Now, this one is $699.95. Currently 7% off. It is $749.99 normally, so I don't know whether they'll be restocking this or what. Have to wait and see. Check the link in the description to see if that is the case. Now, another alternative, very similar spec to the last one. This is kind of just like an alternative one because there are more of these available, but it's around the same price, is a Horizon Gaming PC Tower i5 12400F. Again, not quite as new as the 1400. Again, it's fine. It's going to do well and play the games you want. It's just not quite as new. RTX 4060, 16 gig of RAM, terabyte NVMe SSD, and your power supply and all that. And again, it says VR ready, which is always nice when they just label them VR ready. Now, weirdly, this says 16 gig, but down here you'll see the RAM size is selected 32. Now, I'm pretty sure this is 16 gig, not 32. That's just a strange thing. But if you select 16 gig, it kind of selects a different GPU and stuff. So yeah, again, you can play around with this and do what you want and figure out what the perfect PC for you is. But I like this one as an option, again, to compare against the last one. It's basically the same price. It's 4p more expensive, very similar in spec, other than slightly older CPU on this one. Perfectly capable and a reasonable price. And surprisingly, it's also a white case. Again, you can select other options here if you would rather not have a white case. Okay, so this is the last PC we have here. We're moving up from a 4060 to the brand new 5060 with the Vibox 4121 gaming PC, AMD Ryzen 7 5700X, NVIDIA RTX 5060, 16 gig of RAM, terabyte NVMe SSD, Windows 11, Wi-Fi. Again, another white case. Turns out I thought white cases were quite rare, white builds, but turns out I've actually recommended a lot of them. That's quite funny, isn't it? It ends up at $874.95. So it is a little bit of a jump from the last one, but we are now stepping up into a brand new generation of graphics card that have really only just released. Like I said, VR has become kind of easier to run. It hasn't, like VR hasn't become easier to run, just the technology of the hardware is accelerated and much higher than it previously was. So these PCs are actually like reasonably priced for doing VR. VR is now much more accessible to more people because of the technology increase. Therefore, you end up with GPUs that actually, even though they're sort of on the lowest end of the scale, you know, it's no 5090 or 5080 or anything like that. You don't need those anymore. You can get the lower end GPUs and they're able to run VR perfectly well. Like, you're actually going to get like really good frame rate. You're not going to have to mess around with like it being low resolution or low graphics or anything like that too much. You might have to dial them down a bit depending on the game, depending on how complex the game is. But for a lot of really good games that are just really simple, you're going to be able to have a great VR experience with them. That is the end there for the UK PCs. Again, all the links will be in the description, so go and check them out. If you do have a request, you do have a budget to work in mind to, you do have a spec that you want to work with or a game that specifically you want to run, I am always open to working with you guys, chatting to you guys, and helping you figure out or find the perfect PC for you. So don't be afraid to drop a comment, drop me a tweet, an email. However you can get hold of me, feel free to contact me. I will be happy to help you guys find a good PC for you. Now, onto the US PCs. Onto the first US PC, we have the STGAubron Gaming PC. This is a 13th gen Intel Core i5 13400F with an RTX 3050, 16 gig of DDR4 RAM, 512 gig SSD, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Windows 11, all sorted. The other really nice thing about this one is not only the price of $699.99, which I already think is a really reasonable price for this PC. According to this, at least when I'm looking at it, you can get an $85 coupon. So you can actually get it much less. That's a big discount they're giving you there. Much like the UK PCs, the 3050 6 gig card is a much more capable card than the budget one we were looking at last time. We were looking at a 1650 last time, which if you're pushing it, can do VR. A 3050 is much more capable, much more powerful than that, and is going to do a much better job. So you're getting a much better VR experience with these PCs I'm recommending this time around, just purely because technology has made such an improvement over the last 2 years. We've got much newer graphics cards and stuff like that. They're just being able to do this a lot better. So again, we have a bunch of other options here, but I really think that the 3050 is that kind of sweet spot for price to performance. Seems like it'll be a really good machine. Again, I've tried to pick different brands and I've made sure to pick stuff that has good reviews. There might be some options out there that you see that you're like, hey, this seems like a cheaper option, but it probably doesn't have the reviews that I felt comfortable recommending it. When it's got good reviews, I can kind of base my opinion on that a little bit as well, because not all of these brands I will have heard of necessarily. On to the second PC we have here. This is the Frozen Phantasm Gaming PC, a Ryzen 5 5500, RTX 4060, terabyte NVMe SSD, 16 gig of DDR4, air-cooled, 600 watt, Windows 11, AI-powered gamer PC. I don't know what that means. AI powered, that doesn't really mean much to me. That seems like a weird little buzzword to stick in there. PC looks really good though. Spec-wise, it's going to be really good at VR. 4060, a really capable graphics card that's going to be able to do VR. You've got a terabyte of storage, which is pretty deep. That's like a decent base. Again, you can probably get away with 500 at a minimum. You probably wouldn't want to go any less than that, especially once you start installing games and things, you're going to quickly run out of space. So a terabyte's a decent start. Ryzen 5500, again, it's going to be perfectly good enough for what we're looking to do. Again, like I said, the GPU is doing majority of the hard work with these sort of VR gaming, gaming in general. Obviously, some games are more CPU intensive, but in terms of VR, GPU is really your big boy that you want to spend your money on and make sure you get something good enough. The price of this one is $849.99, so a little bit more expensive than the last one, but it looks like a really nice, attractive looking PC. It's annoying that it kind of like yellowed in that picture, but if you look at some of these, you can see that it's a really nice white case. Now on to our next one. Right, so these next two are kind of the same-ish. They're both the same price and they're both from the same company. So these are both from YEYIAN. This one has a Ryzen 5 7600, RTX 4060, terabyte NVMe SSD. This one has 16 gig of DDR5 RAM. Now, we didn't have any of these in the UK recommendations because DDR5 just seems to be less out there. I don't know why. There just didn't seem to be any DDR5 PCs in the right price range. That's just how it works. But again, it's not a huge deal. DDR5 is newer, future-proof if you want to think of it like that, but DDR4 will still do absolutely fine. I'm still running DDR4 and I've not had an issue, right? It's more important to get the right amount of RAM. Like, you'd rather have 16 gig of DDR4 than like 8 gig of DDR5. So here's my question with this one, right? So this is the same price. These two are the same price. They are different PCs by the same people. They're very similar in their style, but they're kind of similar in their spec, right? Now, the problem is this second one is exactly the same price. Ryzen 7 5700X, 4060, same graphics card, but this has 16 gig of DDR4 apparently. So this one's saying it has DDR4 RAM. Let's just double check it actually does say that. Yeah, 16 gig DDR4, 3200 megahertz. Still got the same terabyte SSD, same power supply, same amount of power supply, but this one has DDR5. I would say go with the DDR5 if it's available. Again, DDR4 is not bad, and I probably still would have recommended this if it were the same price with DDR4, but if you can get the DDR5 and it's exactly the same, go with this one. That would be my saying. The options are there. I'll put both links down in the description. There's also other options here. You could go for like the 14400, and that has 16 gig of memory, which again, let's have a look down here. It does say DDR4 here. So again, probably DDR4, but I think the Ryzen 7 is pretty good. If you want to go for the i5, that's also going to be pretty damn good, and you are saving a bit of money, so maybe this one's the one to go for. Just wanted to put those two both out there as options, being as they are kind of exactly the same price by the same company. Seems odd to have both of those as options, but there we go. Now onto the Skytech Archangel Gaming PC. This is an i5 13400F, RTX 4060, 2 terabyte SSD, 32 gig of DDR5, 650 watt power supply, Windows 11, all that good stuff. We're looking here at $1,059.99. So with this one, we're taking a step up in terms of bunch of storage, 2 terabyte, pretty damn nice. That's a nice amount of storage, and it's all SSD storage, which is really good. We're also getting 32 gig of not only 32 gig of RAM, it's 32 gig of the newer DDR5 RAM. So very nice here to get all those things. A 13400F Intel CPU is by no means old. It's like a generation old at this point. Again, we're going with the 4060, which is a very capable in terms of VR gaming and gaming in general GPU. So all round, I think this is a very good PC. It's got a good step up from the last ones for basically sort of just over $100. You're getting twice as much RAM, and it's DDR5, and you're getting twice as much storage. Sticking with the 4060 option there with that one. And I believe now we are on to our last PC. We have the Empowered PC Continuum. Anyway, this has the 5060 Ti, which is the best GPU we've looked at here today. An 8-core Ryzen 7 5700X, 32 gig of RAM, terabyte NVMe SSD, Wi-Fi, Windows 11, all that stuff. And this is all for the price of $1,349.99. Now, this doesn't have DDR5. This actually has DDR4. So if you want to think of it like that, it's strange that some of these seem to be in this middle stage of moving between DDR4 and DDR5. We're not quite all on DDR5 yet, there's still a lot of DDR4 options out there. So we're in this sort of middle ground where some stuff will just be like, yeah, it's DDR5, it's the newest stuff. Of course we put that in our PCs. And some feels like, we got DDR4 hanging around, so we'll stick that in there. Either way, you're going to have a good experience playing VR with a PC at this caliber. It is a really, really nice PC. Again, you're using the 5060 Ti, which is just released at the time of recording this video. I know this video probably won't make another one for a couple of years, so it'll date itself. But all in all, for the price that we're getting here, I think this is a very good gaming PC, good streaming PC, good VR PC. Basically, pretty much most things you're going to want to throw at it in terms of gaming and streaming and content creation, whatever you're looking to do, it's going to do. This video is specifically VR, so the 5060 Ti is going to be more than capable to handle VR gaming. So there we go, guys. These are my recommendations now in the year of 2025 for budget-orientated gaming PCs. Like I said, all the links will be in the description if you want to go check them out. They will be affiliate links, so if you do purchase via those links, help support me. Doesn't cost you any extra. I would really appreciate it. If you do want any extra help, you want any advice, you're looking for something specifically to your budget, please do reach out to me. I'm always happy to help you guys to find the right PC for you. It is just a fun thing I enjoy doing. I enjoy helping. I enjoy welcoming people into PC gaming. I didn't grow up necessarily on PC gaming. It was something I got into a little bit as I got a little bit older, but I love it. PC gaming is something I really love, and VR specifically being kind of an even newer addition to PC gaming, I really enjoy that as well. So if I'm able to help you guys and offer advice or recommendations for you specifically, please do reach out. I will always do my best to help you guys. Again, if you don't choose any of these PCs, that's fine. You don't have to buy any of these PCs. Hopefully, at least this has given you like sort of a spec list to look at in terms of a PC that you're buying or maybe building yourself. And if I've done that, then I have also still done my job here. I have enabled you to find or make your correct PC that will do what you want it to do. So hopefully that has happened. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate that. It helps out massively. And maybe in 2 years, I'll see you again and make another one of these PCs. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But there will be more regular content always going out on my channel to do with gaming, tech, all that stuff. So please do stick around, subscribe for that. I really do, like I said, I really do appreciate it. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!